She posted, "R.I.P. to my relationship. He cheated and broke my heartbroken heart," with a photo of us. I never cheated. I didn't argue online. I just hired a defamation attorney and sued for $200,000 when her employer fired her for reputation issues, and the court ruled in my favor. I, 32, male, am a structural engineer. My entire life is built on precision, facts, and trust. People's lives literally depend on my work being sound and my reputation being spotless. For 3 years, I thought my relationship with my ex was built on the same foundation. Turns out I was wrong. The breakup itself was no big drama. We just hit that point where our future plans didn't line up anymore. She wanted a life of travel and no strings attached. I was ready to start thinking about settling down. We had a sad but mature conversation, agreed it was for the best, and went our separate ways. I genuinely thought we'd handled it like adults. That illusion lasted for about 48 hours. I was in a major project meeting when my phone started blowing up, text after text from my sister, my dad, even a buddy from college. I finally snuck a look, and my blood ran cold. It was a screenshot of a public post from my ex. She'd used a photo of us on a hike, both of us grinning ear to ear, looking like the happiest couple on earth. The caption read, "R.I.P. to my relationship. He cheated and broke my heartbroken heart." The post was exploding. Dozens of shares. In the comments, my gosh, it was a digital lynch mob. People I hadn't spoken to in a decade were calling me scum, a monster, a liar. She had tagged mutual friends, her family, and even a few pages related to our city. It was a strategic, widespread attack. This wasn't a spontaneous, emotional outburst. This was premeditated. She chose the perfect photo and the most damaging lie she could think of to cause maximum impact. My first move was to try and handle it directly. I called her, straight to voicemail. I texted, message not delivered. I went to her social media page, blocked on everything. She had lit a forest fire and then vanished, leaving me trapped in the middle of the blaze. My gut reaction was to fight back online, to post our last text where we'd wish each other well. But I stopped myself. I pictured the ugly mess it would become, a public he said, she said, where I would just look defensive and desperate. In my line of work, even the accusation of being untrustworthy is a career killer. So, instead of logging on, I drove straight to the office of a defamation lawyer my dad had once mentioned. I sat across from this sharp, no-nonsense guy and laid it all out. The amicable breakup, the post, the comments. I showed him everything. He listened without a word, his expression like stone. When I was done, he leaned back. "Okay," he said, "your online life is now over. You will not post, comment, or reply to anyone. You will become a ghost. You will screenshot everything, every single comment, share, and message you receive. Your ex has committed what's known as libel paresse. She has published a verifiably false statement of fact that is so damaging to your reputation that the law presumes you suffered damages. We're not going to play her game. We're going to play ours." He drafted a cease and desist letter that was a work of art. It was cold, clinical, and brutal. It demanded the immediate removal of the post and a full public retraction, an apology within 48 hours. If she failed to comply, we would file a lawsuit for defamation seeking $200,000 in damages. I thought the number was insane, but he told me the point wasn't just to get paid. It was to show her this was not a social media squabble, but a catastrophic legal mistake on her part. For a day, there was nothing. Then she responded, not to my lawyer, but to her audience. She posted a tear-soaked video. She never used my name, but everyone knew who she was talking about. She wailed about being bullied and silenced by her toxic, controlling ex for speaking her truth. It was an Oscar-worthy performance. The best part? She launched a GoFundMe for her legal defense fund. People were actually donating money to help her fight the consequences of her own lie. My lawyer was thrilled. She wasn't just lying. She was now profiting from it, which legally is a very bad look. That's when her family tagged in. Her mom left me a voicemail that was just 3 minutes of unhinged screaming, calling me a monster for re-victimizing her daughter. Then her dad called. He's a sales guy, all bluster and fake charm. He didn't yell. He He tried to play the strong-arm card. "Son, let's be reasonable," he started. "You messed up. You hurt my little girl. These things happen. But this lawsuit nonsense has to stop. You're going to drop this right now. You don't want me as an enemy. I know people in your industry. I can make a few calls, and suddenly those big projects you're on might start having issues." I just listened. "Are you threatening my career over your daughter's lie?" I asked him. He stammered something about just giving me friendly advice. I told him his advice was noted and hung up. The lie started to have real-world effects. My boss called me in for a closed-door meeting. He was a good guy and said he believed me. But clients were seeing the post, and it was becoming a reputation issue for the firm. He told me he was pulling me off my biggest, most high-profile project and putting me on internal audits with no client contact until this was resolved. It was a demotion in everything but title. Her lie was now officially costing me money and career progression. I documented everything and sent it to my lawyer, who just added it to our growing mountain of evidence. With her video response and the family's threats, we had everything we needed. My lawyer officially filed a lawsuit. Then my ex tried a new tactic. She filed for a temporary restraining order against me, claiming that the legal letters constituted harassment and that she was afraid for her safety. It was a transparent, dirty trick designed to paint me as an aggressor and bog me down in another legal fight. The judge, after seeing the cease and desist letter was sent by my attorney and that I had made no personal contact, threw a request out in less than 5 minutes and warned her about filing frivolous claims. It was another one of her moves that backfired spectacularly. The next few months were a slow grind of legal procedure, leading up to the main event, her deposition. We were in a sterile conference room, me and my lawyer on one side, her and her cheap, GoFundMe-provided lawyer on the other. She looked small and nervous in a gray pantsuit, a far cry from the defiant victim online. She wouldn't even look at me. My lawyer started off gently, just establishing the basic facts. Then he went in for the kill. "In your post, you stated that my client cheated on you. Not that you felt he cheated. Not that you suspected he cheated. You stated it as a fact. So I will ask you now, under oath, did my client ever, during your exclusive 3-year relationship, have a romantic affair with another person?" You could have heard a pin drop. She looked at her lawyer, who just stared blankly. She fidgeted. "Yes or no?" my lawyer pressed. "No," she finally whispered. "So your post, seen by thousands of people, was a lie?" he asked. "It was my interpretation." She started to say, "Let's talk about that." Interpretation, my lawyer said, pulling out a thick binder. "During discovery, we subpoenaed your financial records. They show that at the time of your breakup, you were over $40,000 in credit card debt and had defaulted on a personal loan." "Correct." Her face went sheet white. Her lawyer started to object, but my lawyer was already on to the next exhibit. "We also have emails you sent to your sister from your work computer the week before the breakup. The subject line is contingency plan." He slid a copy across the table. He read from it. "If things with him don't work out soon, I'm screwed. I need a way to get some money out of him to get clear. Maybe I'll tell him I had a miscarriage or something to get a big guilt payment." He let the words hang in the air. "It seems your contingency plan failed when he broke up with you first. So you moved to plan B, publicly destroy his name, and hope he'd pay you to stop the bleeding. Is that not what this is?" She completely crumbled. It was over. She was caught not just in a lie, but in a premeditated extortion plot. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. The fallout was immediate. My lawyer filed for a summary judgment, arguing there was no need for a trial given her admission. He also sent a certified copy of the deposition transcript, including the contingency plan email, to the head of HR and the general counsel at her marketing firm. 3 days later, I heard through the grapevine she'd been fired for violating their company's ethics and social media policies. Her GoFundMe was shut down for fraud and forced to return the donations. Suddenly, her whole family wanted to talk again. Her phone calls were hysterical, sobbing and begging me to stop. Her mother called, pleading for me to show some compassion for her poor, confused daughter. Her father called. his booming voice now a pathetic whimper, offering to pay me a few $1,000s if I'd just drop everything so his daughter wouldn't have this on her record. I listened to each of their voicemails, and then I blocked all of their numbers for good. The court granted our motion. The judge didn't hold back in his written ruling. He called her actions a textbook case of malicious defamation and attempted extortion, utilizing social media as a weapon to inflict maximum personal and professional damage. He awarded me the full $200,000. He specified $50,000 was for the direct damage to my career and reputation, and the other $150,000 was in punitive damages, designed specifically to punish her for the malice and premeditation behind her lie. She had to declare bankruptcy. The judgment is a public record, the first thing that pops up when you search her name. The so-called friends who attacked me in the comments sent me weak, half-hearted apologies. I ignored every single one. My professional life is back on track. My boss apologized profusely and put me in a lead position on the project he'd pulled me from. I don't feel happy, exactly. There's no joy in completely dismantling someone's life, but I do feel a deep, unshakable sense of justice. She thought she could use a lie to tear down the life I had built, but in the end, the only thing she managed to demolish was her own. She tried to write R.I.P. on my relationship, but she ended up presiding over the funeral of her own credibility.